I think we're sort of being shown up sartorially here on this side because Zoe's got a magnificent jacket there, and Ian's come as a sort of East End gangster from the 1950s. You're all right for nylons, darling?
I've got everything in here.
Welcome to Have I Got News for You? I'm Jo Brand. In the news this week, on his extended leave from government, hapless Cabinet Secretary Simon Case does some volunteering at his local hospital. On a visit to a scout camp in Yorkshire, there's an awkward moment as one visitor asks if this is how all northern people cook their food. And in Old Windsor, a power-mad local official authorises the demolition of Prince Andrew's rented cottage. On Ian's team tonight is a comedian whose first job was working in a jam factory, a place where all the employees loved their work, unlike the Marmite factory next door, where it was more sort of 50-50. Will you please welcome Zoe Lyons? And on Paul's team tonight is a former punk rocker with the Undertones and now campaigner against pollution in Britain's rivers, who spends a lot of his spare time fly fishing. In fact, last week he caught a massive 16-pounder. Unfortunately, it wasn't a fish. Will you please welcome Feargal Sharkey? Thank you. So we begin with the bigger news stories of the week. Paul and Feargal, have a look at this.
Yes, this is the man that used to be Prime Minister, and that's the man who wanted to be Prime Minister. This is the COVID inquiry. When the C word was dropped, he was on screen appropriately. Dominic Cummings has given evidence talking about what an absolute mess the whole government approach to COVID was, worse than people even realised at the time, an absolute disaster.
This is the shocking revelation that the government was rubbish. Who knew?
We certainly had no idea.
There's actually more sewage in number 10 than there is currently in our rivers.
Absolutely. No, it's so true. Here's the top dog lawyer at the inquiry who asks all the questions.
Yes.
He's called Keith.
Yeah.
Now, Keith the barrister was getting some easy laughs from reading out swear words in a posh voice.
Yes.
We'd never stoop to such a thing, would we?
No.
No.
This was going out at 11:30 in the morning on the BBC News channel.
I've never seen so many expletives on daytime telly.
You're about to hear some more. You can tell me, what is Jaws mode wank?
Jaws mode wank is when you've wanked so much you're going to need a bigger boat.
Film reference.
Thank you.
This is what Cummings said that Boris Johnson... That's his name.
Yeah.
God, if only there was another one called Goings. No, Boris Johnson, if he's not, you know, efficiently policed, he just spouts rubbish. And the Jaws reference is, Boris thought that the hero of Jaws was the mayor who keeps the beach open.
Yes. But he was quite relaxed about old people. He just sort of said they should just, you know, they've come to the end of their lives, they might as well just die.
Yeah, and then the others had to point out they vote for you. But watching Cummings give evidence, it's terrible because Cummings has learnt absolutely nothing. He's equally arrogant. And then he starts calling other people liars. And you think, you're the man who gave us the story about having your eyesight tested in a car when you were breaking the rules. He still doesn't admit he was breaking the rules. I just thought, I don't care if I agree with everything else you say, you're a liar.
I mean, I must admit, you're right. If this government goes on much longer, I wouldn't actually mind dying that much.
When he was giving evidence, I don't know what a body language expert would say, but he kept his hand in front of his mouth most of the time. I think probably even later he'll try and deny it was him talking.
When he first was in the middle of the COVID thing, Paul asked at one point, why on earth is this man, who's entirely unelected, dictating policy on vaccines, or indeed on lockdown, or anything else? It beggars belief that he could sit there writing WhatsApp message saying, let's get rid of Matt Hancock, let's sack the head of the NHS, let's sack everybody. Says who?
But in your current guise of a 1950s East End gangster, I think you should pay him a visit.
Yeah, I'd like to go round and give him an eyesight test.
So let's just move on to Boris Johnson's principal private secretary,
Yes.
who's called Martin Reynolds.
Yes.
Better known as Party Marty.
I think I need an eye test.
According to Party Marty, everyone was destabilised by Cummings, who claimed he had a list of incompetent people who should be sacked called...
The shit
The
list?
shit list, that's right. And it was a shit list because Cummings wasn't on it. Now, what did Party Marty have most difficulty explaining?
Why messages had disappeared?
Yes, that's right. He struggled to explain why he'd set his WhatsApp messages to disappear after a period of time, just at the point that the COVID inquiry had been announced.
I mean, that's such a coincidence, isn't it?
Let's just have a look at him.
Why did you turn on the disappearing message function around the time that the Prime Minister announced a public inquiry into the COVID pandemic?
I cannot. I mean, I can guess or I can speculate, but I cannot recall exactly why I did so.
Now, brace yourselves. What about fuck, pig, moron and cunt?
Terrible firm of solicitors. Whichever one you get, you wish you'd spoken to the other.
When I saw that, I thought fuck pig did greetings cards.
Yes, those lovely words were Cummings' assessment of the various talents in the Cabinet, and it gave newsreaders at Sky, who were covering the proceedings live, a bit of a challenge.
You called ministers useless fuckpigs, morons, cunts, in emails and WhatsApps to your professional colleagues.
And
Do you
apologies
think you
from us
contributed
for
to
those
a
who may
lack
be
of
offended by the language
effectiveness?
that we're hearing in the COVID-19 inquiry. I'm afraid we have no control over it.
What you can't hear in the background is the newsreaders going, shit, 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 shit.
Now, there are so many instances of very bad language that we're going to have to use the word country club instead, OK? So why did Cummings call Helen McNamara a country club?
Because she was attempting to restore some sort of sanity to policy making, and she disagreed with Cummings. So he said that she was always trying to stick stilettos into him.
So does anyone know what Helen McNamara said about the decision to allow football to continue at the beginning of the pandemic?
Her complaint was there are no women, so
No.
all the discussions are about should we allow football, should we have hunting, should we allow shooting, what should we do? And then someone in the background saying, schools, their homes.
Face masks that actually fit women properly.
She also said that there wasn't one day in Downing Street when the rules were observed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which means that everything Boris Johnson said in his various witness statements isn't true. Can you believe that? I looked at it and I thought, this is a bombshell revelation here.
Well, she was surprised that the government made such a big thing out of following the science, because the science could be misleading. At one point before lockdown, Patrick Vallance and John Evans, both eminent scientists, were in favour of herd immunity. So no wonder, in a way, that Boris Johnson was confused. What indication of his indecisiveness did Cummings provide in his written statement to the inquiry?
Calling him a trolley?
It wasn't. It was the fact that Boris Johnson had circulated a video on a WhatsApp group of a possible method of killing the coronavirus before it got to the lungs. It's a video of a Florida County Council meeting where one of the commissioners suggests this: keep an eye on the man on the left.
This sounds really goofy, and it did to me too, but it works. Once the temperature reaches 136 degrees Fahrenheit, the virus falls apart and just disintegrates, okay? And I said, well, how would you get the temperature up to 132 degrees? The answer was you use a blow dryer because it's capable of doing that. So you hold a blow dryer in front of your face and you inhale with your nose and it kills all the viruses in your nose.
To be fair, if Boris Johnson was shoving a blow dryer up his nose, it explains why he had that superb bouffant for all of those years.
There's been suggestions that the government was hampered from helping vulnerable people by the lack of diversity in Downing Street. Oh, I don't know. Let's have a look at some typical Downing Street workers, shall we?
That's on nerve.
That's a very diverse range of bulbous foreheads, isn't it?
They're all here to take over our planet.
Matt Hancock, we saw on the end there.
Yes.
He came in for quite a bit of stick, not just at the inquiry, but on Channel 4's SAS thing. Would you like to see a bit of it?
Yes,
Oh,
please.
yes. Yes, please.
Put these off.
The final recruit in for processing is number 1, Matt.
Oh, dear. Can you see me?
No,
Why can't you see me?
because I've still got a bag on my head.
So I told you to take these things off.
Sorry, I thought you meant just those.
Now, Zoe, you were on the same series, weren't you? Did you get off with him?
Oh, you know I did.
Was he a weasel-faced country club?
I'll be honest, I went into that show with an open mind because I thought, you know, I'll take people as I see them. You know, I will go in with an open mind, and within 30 seconds, my mind had shut down again like a startled scallop.
He volunteered, didn't he, to be the person that said whether people should live or die?
Yeah.
The hospitals are too crowded. I'll do that. I can do that.
Yeah. I mean, they said, should it be chief medical officer or should it be, you know, decided by the public? No. He said, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Me, Matt.
Now, what's happened to Matt Hancock's intimate cubbyhole?
Oh, wow. I did see that once in the shed in Vietnam.
This programme was in Vietnam.
I'll be honest, I thought I'd applied for a place in the sun. It was a misunderstanding.
The Mickey cupboard, where he was filmed grappling with a woman who wasn't his wife, has been demolished, like Fred West's house, apparently. Now, staying with Matt Hancock, what part of his legacy collapsed recently? Think apps.
Oh, it's Babylon.
Yeah, Babylon Health.
Yeah.
An app called The Doctor in Your Pocket, which just sounds pervy to me.
Why wasn't it called A Nurse in Your Purse? What was that?
Well, this was an app made by a recently bankrupted firm, Babylon Health. It was supposed to keep people out of doctor's surgeries by using AI to diagnose illnesses, except it wasn't really AI and it kept getting things wrong. And Hancock backed it to the tune of $22 million from the health service budget.
Whoa.
That's probably the smallest amount of money that he wasted in the entire time.
Probably. Shush. Sorry.
There could be a new COVID outbreak and you're just going, shush.
There are some people here trying to sleep.
And on a slightly larger scale of wasting money, what did we learn about HS2's rising costs?
They lied about it right from the beginning of how much it would cost.
Yeah, absolutely. They submitted artificially low estimates.
Yes, £5.60.
Yeah.
The main achievements of Rishi Sunak's government are just cancelling incredibly stupid ideas by his predecessors. I mean, they're not going to abolish ticket offices anymore, which is, I mean, it's a very, very good idea because it was a very, very bad idea. So cancel culture in terms of Rishi, is terrific. Sorry, that's praise. We'll cut that bit out as well.
Oh, yeah, careful. Where might Nigel Farage be spending the winter?
Australia. I'm a celebrity, kept me out of here. Sorry, that's the name of the programme, not my current way of thinking.
ITV bosses offered him an eye-watering sum of money. I'm guessing cash in case he loses his bank account again. But, Farage has admitted the discussion, saying, "I'm used to going through tough times and dealing with snakes."
The difference between talking bollocks and eating bollocks, though, isn't it?
I quite like the comment that the insects are already leaving the jungle in protest.
Apparently, the quality of his GB News show may suffer in his absence. If only there was someone waiting in the wings to step in. Well, we all know who their new presenter's going to be, don't we?
Boris.
Anyone excited about Boris's new show? No one. OK, fair enough.
You won't be able to hear him. He'll have a hairdryer blowing up his nose.
I think with Farage in the jungle and Boris not starting until January, we'll just have to savour moments like this one while we can.
It's time for Bell and Sperling!
Come, we want the salty air. It's cancel culture, it's just not fair. Why deny us? GB News is not bias.
Jed would have let themselves go.
So there we go. This is the COVID inquiry, whose principal aim is that lessons will be learned. The main lesson being, make sure you delete your WhatsApp messages. According to The Independent, the inquiry has produced a series of startling new revelations. Boris Johnson was considered unfit to govern, the cabinet was bitterly divided, and Dominic Cummings hated everyone. And there was also a series of startling new revelations. One target of Dominic Cummings' abuse was civil servant Helen McNamara, whose karaoke machine was infamously used at a Downing Street lockdown party. Cummings said of her, "I will personally handcuff her and escort her from the building." Fair enough, I hate karaoke too. Helen McNamara told the inquiry that her lack of female perspective directly impacted domestic abuse victims in lockdown. She said awful things happen to children, partners and parents in their own home. Sometimes it's best to keep quiet about these things, else you'll get a broken nose. Just ask Stanley Johnson. Nigel Farage has revealed that he's seriously considering entering the jungle and appearing on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. No doubt inspiring millions of viewers to vote Leave. Ian and Zoe, take a look at this.
That's the march in London. Oh, yeah, this is the war in the Labour Party. And this is us trying to...
work out how we're going to
answer this question.
Yes. This is Keir Starmer toing and froing with his point of view on the current Gaza-Israel situation.
Indeed.
And the problem is he doesn't want to say there's a ceasefire because, according to Israel, that means the end of the war. And the US president says, can we have a pause? And the UN says, can we have a ceasefire? So it's the difference between having a pause where you stop firing and a ceasefire where you cease firing.
Joe Biden said we need a pause as well.
Yeah.
So that might have been because he was halfway up the stairs.
The views on this, they're very difficult to articulate without annoying everybody, which I'm sure I've just done.
What is Keir Starmer's argument against a ceasefire?
Well, he says if there's a ceasefire, we'll stay in a static situation, therefore allowing Hamas to
sort of regroup. And,
to regroup.
Yeah.
But the others are saying that doesn't necessarily mean that. The pause is to negotiate further with the hostages and to try and get some aid into Gaza. And I think the argument for him is he doesn't want to be Jeremy Corbyn. Which is perfectly reasonable. And he wants to keep a party together that doesn't lose.
Well, his speech was supposed to calm tensions in his own party. He got heckled on the way out, and here are some of the protesters who were waiting for him. Starmer's ham, not sure that'll go down well, with really involved. Who else has been criticised in relation to the Hamas attacks?
Well, Hamas,
Yeah.
which is probably a good thing. Iran for backing them.
It's actually South Yorkshire's AXB paramotoring group who upset a local woman, and this led to the headline, "Woman criticises paragliding club who made her think Hamas were invading Gaza."
Wow.
Who is the BBC upset with their news coverage? Oh, sorry, we simply don't have time to get through
Everybody?
a list that long. Now, the good news is that the BBC Director General, Tim Davie, has taken direct control of editorial complaints. So if you don't like anything you've seen in today's programme, then drop Tim a line. I know he'll be delighted to hear from you. And his email is calltimbo@gmail.com. What's the good news for Rishi Sunak? It's not a trick question, there actually is a glimmer.
Has he finally got a pair of trousers that fit him properly? Because winter's coming and his ankles will be cold.
According to The Guardian, a split over Gaza could see Labour hemorrhage crucial left-wing votes to obscure fringe political parties like George Galloway's Workers' Party of Britain, or even more shockingly, the Lib Dems. Feargal, you grew up in Derry. Is partition a good idea, in your opinion?
Well, this is the 25th anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement. For 25 years, the people of Northern Ireland have been able to prosper and grow and blossom and have discovered that this thing, peace, is a very delicate, beautiful little flower that needs nurturing, caressing and supporting. I do wish that the people of Gaza and Palestine and Israel get to discover what 25 years of peace, prosperity and diplomacy and democracy looks like, and that those people can blossom into a much more confident, much brighter future for everyone involved. This is good for Northern Ireland.
Well spoken.
Thank you.
So this is the conflict in Gaza and the, let's be honest, slightly less important conflict in the Labour Party. London Mayor Sadiq Khan has called for a ceasefire to prevent tanks rolling into the Gaza Strip, and if that doesn't stop them, he's going to declare Gaza a ULEZ zone. And so to round two, the picture spin quiz. Fingers on buzzers, teams, if you know the answer.
This is a story that I saw the other day. That apparently somebody has determined that cats have over 100 different expressions. I would like to see each one of those 100 different expressions. I mean, that one's obviously enjoying a visit to the vets.
Yeah, they have 270.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Every cat looks like this.
Yeah.
How do they count?
I don't know, Paul. No. How do researchers find this out?
Well, this is what we're asking you.
No.
OK, number one, nostalgic. Second, patriotic. 3, slightly disappointed there's no fish for breakfast.
4, watching GB News.
5, presenting GB News. No viewers?
Not even one?
Yes, it was a study involving 53 cats in a Los Angeles cafe.
Oh, well, that's an exhaustive study.
No, absolutely. And researchers noted indicators of cats' moods and found that unfriendly behaviour includes hissing, biting and fleeing. To be fair, I do that, but apparently when humans cry, it means they're sad. Anyway, so let's just try and see if we can guess any of these cats' emotions.
Yes, let's
Yeah,
do
OK,
it.
yeah, absolutely,
Go.
yeah.
OK.
Yeah.
Right, number 1.
Yeah.
That's not where it should be.
Yeah. I miss the Bee Gees.
Well, that's friendly because it's got its ears turned slightly down.
Oh, right,
apparently.
OK.
All right, let's have a look at the next one, OK?
Oh, I know that. I recognise that one from my old cat. That expression says, "I'm sorry, I thought that was just going to be a fart."
All right, the next one.
I did it my way.
I told you I'm refusing to watch Boris on TV News.
And what do we think about this next one?
What do you do?
Yeah.
It's Therese Coffey saying, tonight, Larry the cat, this is your life.
Should we have a look at some other animal
Yes.
news?
Yeah, absolutely. That one's gone so well.
Yes, exactly. How are scientists trying to understand chickens?
Are they finally sitting them down and going, why?
Did you cross the road?
Exactly.
Why?
No, they've built a high-tech chicken coop which makes use of sound detection software to measure the decibels and patterns of clucks to establish the mood of the birds.
Oh, God.
And here's what it looks like.
Why have we been imprisoned without a trial? And why is the co-op involved? Oh, sorry, it's coop. Sorry, it's coop. Sorry, it's coop.
They claim to be able to translate chickens clucking so an owner can decipher what they're saying to each other.
Well, thank God. Thank God. With all the other shit going on, this is exactly what we need.
Exactly.
So what do you reckon of West Ham's chances this year? Do you really think they should change the midfield?
Would you like to try and guess the mood of some chickens?
Yes, please.
OK, here's the first one.
They were lucky to get a 2-all draw.
So what mood's that chicken in?
Happy.
Yes, correct. Well done.
Yes.
Let's just get this out of the way.
Yeah.
What's this one?
Existential angst.
Hungry. So, talking of birds, why might Chris Packham be relieved this week? Well, he was cleared by the police for sniffing chicks.
Oh.
Yes, that's something.
How long has it been against the law to sniff a chick?
Yeah.
I've been doing it all my life.
It's amazing what the police will arrest people for.
I know, isn't it incredible?
This is the news that cats have many more facial expressions than previously realised.
No, they don't. Prove that.
Cats have 276 facial expressions, 276 of which are fuck off.
Have we got Dominic Cummings in?
Chris Packham has been cleared of sniffing a bird. Honestly.
I always wondered what the last episode of this show would look like.
Chris Packham has been cleared of sniffing a bird. During an episode of Spring Watch, a goshawk chick was sniffed, weighed and sexed. Sounds a bit like my wedding night. Don't start, you.
Why am I getting the blame?
Well, I've got a voice in my ear. What?
She's not wearing an ear.
That's all right. Don't worry. Fingers on buzzers, team.
Ah.
Oh, God, that robot's at a really odd height. Is this the AI conference?
Yes, it is.
Yes. I mean, I've been worried about this for quite some time, because about 7 years ago, I bought a toaster. And when I got out of the box, I realised it had 7 settings, and I thought, crikey, that's probably more emotionally intelligent than I'll ever be. So I even dream of being able to defrost a bagel. Maybe if I held it betwixt my menopausal thighs gently, but...
This is the news that Rishi Sunak is hosting a summit about artificial intelligence. Who opened the summit?
Was it Elon Musk?
He was there, but it was opened by someone on video who...
Christopher Biggins?
King Charles.
That's right. Appeared in a video message saying that the world leaders must address the risk of AI in the same way they sought to tackle climate change.
With that level of urgency.
Yes, so ignore it then, basically. And you've already said the answer to this, Ian. Who was the big name attending the summit?
Christopher Biggins. Elon Musk.
Yes.
He's turned up. I mean, again, why? I mean, he owns Twitter.
X, Ian, keep up. X.
X. Oh, yes.
Ian's very big on MySpace.
I see.
Yeah.
I hope I don't know what that means.
Well, yes, he turned up, Elon, and spoke to Rishi Sunak on Thursday night. So here was how Downing Street announced the interview on social media. Presumably they'll keep that for when Liz Truss tries to pop round. And who was Rishi Sunak criticised for inviting?
It's the Saudi prince, isn't it?
No, it's the Chinese. According to The Guardian, no one is sure if anyone from China will attend the high-tech summit. I'm sure they won't miss a single word, whether they attend or not. Rishi Sunak is keen to show that he has the ear of all the biggest names in AI, but whose expertise should he really be tapping into?
It is Christopher Biggins, I know.
You're not that far off. It's Cliff Richard. Because during an interview with the BBC, no one mentioned helicopters, he showed that he really has a firm grasp of modern technology. Here we go.
Sitting down there with my lungs strumming, I could see the people for miles around coming to hear me sing my music and play. Yay, yay.
Delightful. Thank you, Cliff.
OK, thank you.
Really nice chatting.
Thank you. And I didn't use artificial insemination.
This is the Bletchley Park Summit on the implications of artificial intelligence and its possible threat to the human race. This problem is overhyped and AI is nothing to worry about, said an iPhone. Fingers on buzzers, teams. Here's the next one.
Yes, it's Berlusconi. He's got an art collection, and his relatives are trying to get rid of the art collection, trying to sell it, but a lot of it's just sort of porn in oil paintings.
Yeah. What he bought was explicit artworks featuring women in various states of undress, including a rendition of the Mona Lisa with her breasts exposed.
You just wouldn't have guessed it of that man, would you?
No. But as far as selling them goes, Italian Deputy Minister for Culture Vittorio Sgarbi remarked, there are only 6 or 7 of artistic interest out of 25,000 pieces.
Didn't he buy a lot of it drunk online late at night?
Yes, he did.
I love drunk online late at night shopping because when it arrives the next day, it's a surprise and you're like, oh, what have you bought now, Zoe? And you're like, oh, it's a tank.
In other news, what did the Czech Republic President Petr Pavel recently do during a parade? Should we have a look at that?
Yes.
Very good.
Right, I'm going home and I'm taking my mates with me.
Time now for the odd one out round. Just one between you this week. Your 4 are Vladimir Putin, Jeremy Corbyn, King George IV and Taylor Swift.
George IV's eyes keep dropping out and landing on his cloak.
None of them are involved with Taylor Swift, if I missed the news. During lockdown, I was in Battersea Park and I went and had a cup of tea.
What were you doing about
Oh, you and your stories.
Yeah. There was a paparazzi and he was taking pictures. And I said, what are you doing here? This is a bit desperate. And he said, I was sent out to find Taylor Swift.
Putin's the odd one out. He's the only one trying to look down her top.
I'll give you a clue. It's something that a lot of people do on a night out after they've come out of the pub.
Buy a kebab? Well, George IV never bought a kebab, did he? Oh, unless he invented them.
Yeah.
Something you do late night after you come out to the pub. You go home and finish the crossword.
No. So it's all about kebabs, yes. All the others love a kebab, apart from Jeremy Corbyn, who's vegetarian. but loves his local kebab shop. This is what he told the crowd at the British Kebab Awards. I love having a falafel wrap. Now, no surprise, Jeremy Corbyn likes Middle Eastern food. He's always been a big defender of hummus. Let's look at the reception the British Kebab Awards gave him when he was leader of the Labour Party.
Thank you very much. Big thanks to Ibrahim Douglas and Live Douglas.
Wow.
Away from the kebab shop, where else has Jeremy Corbyn popped up recently? He's got a cameo.
He's got a cameo in what?
He has a cameo in a new film, Some Otherhood, which is described as a parody of the UK urban genre. The Guardian gave it 1 star and said a low point's reached early on when Ed Sheeran takes a dump in a Let's have a look at Corbyn in a very fetching cap in the TikTok advertising campaign for the film.
Oh, lordy.
Do you not see what man is holding, fam?
Allow it, waste man.
Ian, he's pinched your catchphrase. Now it does, man. That is a real film. He is really in it.
I've got to go now.
You might have missed it already. It said it was in cinemas October the 13th. I very much doubt it still is. King George IV, there reminds me that when they made a film of the madness of King George III, in America, it was just called The Madness of King George, because they thought Americans might think it was a sequel. And they hadn't seen the previous 2 movies.
So how do we know that Taylor Swift is a kebab fan?
She was spotted in Hampstead.
Eating a kebab?
At the kebab shop.
Yeah.
She was in Kentish Town.
You mean that she gets her kebabs from Kentish Delight?
She's been once, at the very least, yeah.
I should think most people have been once.
According to The Telegraph, politicians from Chile, Hungary, Thailand and Canada have begged Taylor Swift to bring her tour to their countries as it would give their economy a multi-billion-dollar boost.
Yeah, someone's done research into this. I think I read this, and your economy grows by an enormous percentage.
Buying tickets
and merch and...
Merch? Where have you come by this phrase, merch?
It comes from the biblical narrative. There's gold, frankincense and myrrh. Well, I'm a Swiftie. Jonathan.
Would anyone like to see Taylor Swift's face on a pumpkin?
Whoa.
There you go.
That is a massive pumpkin.
Yeah.
It's made poor Taylor's face rather large, though. I think it looks more like me than her, to be honest. But how does Vladimir Putin use kebabs to relax? Well, I'll tell you, according to a local leader in Siberia, he unwinds by making a Russian type of kebab called shashlik. Vladimir Putin's favourite sandwich comprises kebab, gherkins and barbecue sauce, otherwise known as the KGB. Now, how do we know that King George loved a kebab?
He liked a lot of things, didn't he? He was a man of...
This is the sort of research.
Yes.
Was it a Turkish import at the time? Was there a...
Well done, Ian. A major academic study into the menus served to Georgian kings has revealed they often feasted on foreign cuisine, including Turkish kebab.
Brilliant.
The Times reported that at this time the royals could also eat an early version of chicken and chips.
Oh.
So, egg and chips.
Yeah.
Very good.
We know that George III and George IV used to enjoy kebabs due to the tradition of recording every single meal ever eaten by royals in palace ledgers.
Wow.
And still Andrew can't find that receipt for Pizza Express. OK, it's time now for the Missing Words round, which this week features as its guest publication Allotment and Leisure Gardener, the membership magazine for the National Allotment Society. It would have a Reader's Wives section, but they all walked out years ago. And we start with thieving cat blamed for what?
Thieving cat blamed for looking guilty and creating facial expression number 251.
Thieving cat blamed for 18 years of unpaid gas bills. According to the Mirror, postman had complained about the cat shredding letters with its claws. Here's the cat. Blimey, look what it's done to his hair. Man arrested in bar after accidentally asking for what?
Is it a ceasefire?
It's got to be the name of a cocktail, hasn't it? It's got to be the name like slow screw against the wall or a blowjob at altitude.
At altitude?
Altitude, yeah, that's the bit that you're questioning. Altitude?
Man arrested in bar after accidentally asking for a grenade instead of a pomegranate. Oh. This is a man in Portugal whose translation app incorrectly gave him the word for a grenade instead of a pomegranate when he asked for juice in a bar. He was released, but then got in more trouble when he tried to celebrate by ordering a round of Jaeger bombs. King Charles loves showing off what in the garden?
Crown jewels.
I like crown jewels. Well, it's better than the answer, but it's actually King Charles loves showing off his plums in the garden.
Oh, very good.
This is an article from the magazine of the National Allotment Society. King Charles, of course, has his own allotment. It's called Gloucestershire. Village being driven mad by competitions to see what?
Who can scream the loudest? Who can honk their car horn the loudest?
Being driven mad by competitions to see who can play Celine Dion the loudest.
Why?
This is a village in New Zealand where boy racers have been playing the Canadian singer Celine Dion as loud as they can from their cars. Young men riding around at night blasting Celine Dion points to a deeper societal problem, not enough gay bars. What discovered propping open shed door?
Copies of Matt Hancock's memoirs.
Brick.
Brick. No, you were in the right ballpark now with...
Bricks.
No. No, it's a £2.5 million marble sculpture.
Oh, right, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And here's the statue they found in a shed in the Highlands. And there was even better news when they went into the living room and found its legs being used as a draft excluder. Finally, South West representative of the National Allotment Society says he couldn't live what?
South West representative National Allotment says he couldn't live in the South East. Full of bastards.
Now, I'm going to tell you. South West representative of the National Allotment Society says he couldn't live without his old slurry fork.
What is a slurry fork?
It's a bit like a Jaws wank.
Yeah.
I hope people just tune in just at that moment to hear him say that. What the hell is he talking about?
So, final scores are Ian and Zoe have 4, and Paul and Feargal have 6.
Well done, sir. Well done.
On which note, we say thank you to our panellists, Ian Hislop and Zoe Lyons, Paul Merton and Feargal Sharkey. And I leave you with news that, arriving at the Dog and Duck, 3 drinkers seem unimpressed as the barman says, "This reminds me of the start of a joke." There's further embarrassment for the British Museum as some ancient artefacts are left leaning up against a wall outside. And on a government visit to a factory in Birmingham, staff are told that anyone who gets stuck with the boring bloke should make the appropriate signal. Good night.